This is a natal chart reading for Isa. Thank you so much for your interest. I'm going to start with the big three, then go to the little three. We'll look at some outer planets, some aspects, themes, and I know you had a couple questions. So I'm most likely going to answer that by pulling up some transits on what's going on. Let's start with your big three. So you are an Aquarius rising, a Capricorn sun, and a Pisces moon. So I see three different elements in the big three, and I think this is somebody who is experiencing her personality through many different avenues. You're going to be open to a lot of different opportunities in life, open to experiences and perspectives that are different from you, especially Aquarius rising. You're going to attract people in your life who do things differently, who maybe are really focused on tradition and authority and the way things have always been. Because Aquarius rising comes into this world to help the collective move forward. The innovator, originator, the ideas that come suddenly but are profoundly insightful. You guys are the ones that help us all move and grow. And even though sometimes growth can be uncomfortable, it's necessary for us to evolve as this human species and this collective consciousness that we share. And it's the Achilles heel of the Aquarius that their ideas can be so forward that they lose a lot of people's support along the way because you come across many people that just aren't ready for the way you do things or the way you think, problem solve, express yourself. When Aquarius risings come into new situations, they really like to see, okay, well, what am I dealing with? Let me intellectualize what's around me. And then let me help express what this is missing or what needs to change about this, how we can bring everyone in on this and really reach the whole group and make all of us better. And a lot of people don't like that. They want every man for himself. Wherever you live can affect that. But culturally, there's something about you that doesn't sit well with people who um, are benefiting from old systems. So you can face people in this life who resist you. There can be a lot of pushback in your life. And you face this with a sense of detachment emotionally. The more you can understand that the outer projections are not actually something that you need to internalize every time, the more you can keep rolling and keep doing your thing. And, that's what Aquarius rising does. They inspire other people to express their individuality because that's how you live your life. You're going to do things the way you think it needs to be done. And you're not going to sit back and let other people talk you out of it. Being a fixed sign, you really are someone who appears to others as someone who really has like solid beliefs on things, a solid character. You're not going to be easily persuaded into other people's beliefs. Peer pressure that's not really something that you care much about. You don't want to do it, you're not going to do it. And by being this blunt or open about your real authentic self, you inspire other people to do that too. And then that's where we start to see that change in all the ripple effect of everyone that you come in contact with over time. You really become part of this innovative push towards a higher consciousness just by being yourself and not being closed off because people are pushing back too much, embracing it and doing it anyway. Aquarius ultimately wants to be a part of the group, but they're willing to be exiled from the group if they are forced to conform. They won't do it. So that's your plight in life as an Aquarius rising. Moving to your sun, this is a grounded sign, even though it's not fixed. It's the earth, it's Capricorn. So there's a part of you that appreciates being the authority of your own life. Your self image is going to be one of someone who is very capable and seen as responsible, maybe not interested in a lot of risk taking. Of course, that depends on other parts of your chart. Sometimes Aquarius rising, who's also Saturn ruled, that Uranus side makes the Capricorn sun a little bit more restless. So you might find that you're ambitious to pursue goals, although maybe unusual with your Aquarius rising, but still ambitious nevertheless. And you might be a little bit more open to spontaneous ideas or opportunities with Uranus being one of your chart rulers. But you're going to be somebody who is appreciative of the hard work it takes to get somewhere in life. The things that you want in life, the 11th house sun is something that you want eventually to reap the fruits of all your efforts in life. It's important to you that you spend a good lifelong effort on working on being the best self, being the authority in your own life, really achieving things that you set out to do in this life, and that it gets you somewhere better than you started at the end. The 11th house can be seen as groups and organizations that we identify with. So you might build this. It might be something that in life down the line you find like your soul tribe, people who really get you, appreciate you. Maybe you start some type of group yourself. Capricorn is a cardinal initiating sign. Maybe you start something where people really can express this unique interest that you all share. You can really be yourself, you embody it. But also, 11th house is about what we get next, evolutionary wise, in the wheel here. If our 10th house is career, we've already mastered that when we move to the 11th house. Whatever it was, whatever our vocation was, now we're coming down from it. We're releasing and we're passing on and we're getting what we worked for. So if your son's in the 11th house, you want to be there and you really want whatever is the proof of your efforts of either like your job, your career, or your calling in life. You want to be able to embody that and own that, and that's part of who you are. So it's somebody who then I would interpret to see that your callings in life maybe take longer. Maybe you're working on something that is really more about um, mastering something that takes a lot of steps to do or a lot of years of experience. It's not something that you can do overnight. And now you have all this fame and success. You're building gradually towards what you want in life. And then you do want to have the rewards of it, whether it be the reputation of being the expert, the having your own group to pass on your legend down the line, whether it be monetary. Capricorn is very interested in material results of accolades, maybe of accomplishments that can be seen after them and before them. So big reputation is really what I'm getting at here. You're likely in life to eventually be known for something bigger than yourself, and whether that could be many different things, but that's what the Capricorn 11th house sun really means to me. With an Aquarius rising, I would argue that it might be something a little bit unusual, eccentric that you have to start yourself, but it takes a lot of life experience to get there. But ultimately, you become this and you identify with this and you become the authority of it. Moving to moon, Pisces moon person is some of the inner softest people. And it might be not that everybody gets to see the side of you. The Saturn ruled Capricorn and co Saturn ruled Aquarius doesn't love to show their soft side all the time. They kind of are big believers in tough love, like you can earn my softness after I see what you're made of. And the Pisces moon is not really going with that. Pisces moon being now your first mutable energy that we see in your chart really is going with the flow of life and being what your inner self needs to really feel emotionally secure in this life. The first person to give you that emotional security in life to meet all your needs is usually your mother. That's why it's associated with your mom. It doesn't have to be, but it's the type of relationship that your soul needs going forward is in this Piscean energy of if you have emotional pains, emotional triumphs, you want to feel all of it. You really want to be connected to yourself, your emotional nature, and to other people's, flowing without boundaries and without limitations at all. You have the capacity to really feel all of these human experiences on an emotional level. And in doing that, you really create then this connection between yourself and others, almost on a psychic level. With it's not about words, it transcends that. And it's about really spiritual connectedness eventually. In the sign of Pisces, that's our final sign of the zodiac wheel. So it's a collective energy. You're kind of catching the rest of all of us. You're this emotional net or safe haven for all of the other signs. So if you have the ability to have a Pisces in your big three, then that's saying really you're turning no one away in life from your ability to connect and feel and emotionally heal others in this way. It's a high vibrational energy when it's a healthy one because it has the ability to cleanse the energy that it touches. So without words, people feel safe around you. They can feel close to you. And so you're in a interesting position with the big three like this because then you can choose more. Do I turn this on or do I not? The Capricorn and Aquarius energy sometimes wants to protect that. I don't really want everybody to know that actually I deeply care about them, their family, anyone they meet, every single person in this world. So I'm not going to go there right now. I'm going to stay in my lane and continue to pursue what I'm doing. But to feel actually deeply emotionally fulfilled in life, you're going to let that out. And it's actually a biggest strength to be so deeply connected to people. It's a very creative energy and a healing energy. And where the road can get tough with those other two big threes, this is a place where you can heal, you can let it out, you can let go, and you can not feel stuck in any type of energy that you've encountered. I really love to see an Aquarius rising with a Pisces somewhere else because I feel Aquarius doesn't really always get such a ability to heal where I feel like they have to be on the front lines a lot of resistance. Well, now you have a chance in this big three to really let your emotions go and let it flow away and not feel stuck in any fixed energy. Okay. So we're going to move on now to the little three. So let's start with Mercury. You have Mercury in Capricorn, which is another earth sign. You'll see that you have a stellium in Capricorn. So whenever we have a stellium, that really is like the tunnel focus of energy. So you really wanted to come here and experience this Capricorn energy, this ability to accomplish things to the achievable mastery of it in a material, tangible way. So, where did you want to do that is where the house is. So, in the 12th house and the 11th house, we see Mercury sitting in there. So, this is a pretty accessible energy. It's how we think, how we communicate, what interests us in these areas. But Capricorn in the 12th house, this is somebody who maybe is interested in the way things are supposed to be done to mastery, authority, the real detailed interest of of what is supposed to be, not really wanting a lot of fluff about things or maybes or perhaps, but really seeking to know things for the actuality of it and the usefulness of it. Very interested in conversations that are functionally based. Why are we talking about this? Where is this going? How is this going to help us get on to the next thing? You might find that you're not really up for a lot of small talk. If it's not really getting to the point, then it's superficial. And as we'll see soon, you have a lot of Pluto in your chart too. So I just don't think you're really in it for like the socializing, casually kind of stuff. So I say that too because in the 12th house, there's this intellectual pursuit of achieving spiritual matters. So for 12th house is a spiritual house, 8 and 4 as well. This is where the majority of your stellium sits. And it's a lot of outer energy with Neptune and Uranus there. But to have the personal planet in there too is saying that you need space, you need time, you need privacy to listen to the voice inside of you. Your thoughts might come from a place of channeled messages. It might be that you get really profound, like some people call them downloads, when you're really in a place of spiritual meditation and openness. You have the ability to really connect to things that we don't understand and that we can't explain. Some people would say this is like a sixth sensibility. Some people that hear or feel or somehow just know things sometimes have Mercury in the 12th house. How you communicate that out then in the Capricorn would be is one of authority. So, do you have great confidence in your ability to um, transcribe what you are receiving to the rest of us? If you don't, that is something to work on and try to open up. You have the ability to be the authority on this. You have the ability to communicate what is coming through to you in a way for the rest of us to look to you as someone who is wise in this and who has been practicing enough self discipline to really get into this more and really polish those skills. There might be a sense in you that you don't really love the um, responsibility of sharing that with the public. It's just this isn't such a private house. But with this stellium here, and then when we talk about Pluto, we'll talk about this again. But I feel like it is asking you to make it a conscious effort to work on that type of connection, that spiritual side of you, of your thoughts and your ability to communicate what's going on in your spiritual world. Um, and is it from you or is it from something else? Is it dreams? Is it when you are journaling, something profound comes out? It could be writing in general, but not necessarily because it's not super related to that area. But it is the messenger in the spiritual house and the one of authority who releases this energy. So you see how it would then be something that would be communicated to others. So let's let's go to Venus for now, since we're in the sake of the little three. So Venus is in Scorpio in your ninth house in the perfect conjunction to Pluto. So when we have two planets together, it's a conjunction and it turns into like this super planet, right? So now Pluto and Venus being one, you have this mega planet of ability to love, connect, fiercely be loyal to somebody, and this really deep desire to be loved and intimately connected to someone else. This could be the person who really gets almost obsessed in relationships. When you fall in love, you do so completely. There's no separation of you and someone else. There's this inability to think about other things when you're falling in love with somebody. It consumes you. It is the movie style love affairs where the whole world stops and it's just you and this person. If that hasn't happened for you, then that's where it could go. It's the potential for this type of depth of loving somebody to where it almost becomes a controlling obsession, compulsive entity. It can almost take on a life of its own. So if you've experienced that type of attraction to somebody else, that makes sense because that's what this is saying. And it's in the public part of your chart, it's in the ninth house. So I would assume it is something that you've already experienced. Maybe you've experienced it more than once. It's in the house, which could be considered higher education. So I would say college years, later high school years. You could have been completely floored by this emotion. You might have made life decisions based around this. You might have gone to foreign countries and really thought, like, okay, I'm going to stay here and be with this person. There is this deep desire to really expand your world, to see like the real depths of all the ways that people could be. I mean, you just have no boundaries in your ability to absorb motivations of the human mind and heart between your Pisces moon and this Venus Pluto conjunction. I just feel like you want to go to the highest heights, the lowest lows of this human experience as it involves other people in intimate relationships. I think for you to be alive is to try to be in love on some level. And I think that this gives you great power and perseverance. I think you would do anything for somebody that you love, literally. I think you literally would do anything if the person you really loved needed something. This is interesting because you have a big opposition here to your Black Moon Lilith. And I think that sometimes when that happens, there could be these power struggles here or these disappointments in love because it's not really, sometimes you're not given the opportunities to achieve this deep love that you want, or it's not being reciprocated well. Maybe there were family ties holding you back from really expressing this type of intensity that you could portray. Maybe you publicly felt like you didn't want to be so consumed by someone else. You have a lot of independent energy with your Capricorn and Aquarius. It's like this tug of war between, do I let myself get completely consumed in somebody else? Or do I realize that like that means somebody could own me too, and I don't want that, and I'm rebelling against that the other way. The Black Lilith says, I need a variety of love experiences in my life, either from one person doing many things or many different people and many different ways of doing things. And the Pluto is opposing that because it's saying, well, give me your all. I want it all, and I'm going to get it. But this Lilith in you is not really 100% on board with that and craves independence and intellectual freedom and ability to shake things up and doesn't want to sign the contract forever. So you struggle back and forth with this, and this could be portrayed as other people trying to overpower you in love relationships and really forcing you to own this independent streak that you could have. And then asking yourself, but what do I really want? And then we'll touch back here now because I think this all plays in together with your Pluto Mercury sextile here, um, and your Venus. Mercury is the messenger, it's the communicator. It's really closely involved to your identity because really Mercury never travels super far away from the sun, which is who we are. And for you, it's in the same sign and it's in a different house though. And I feel like when it's sextiling your Pluto and your Venus, it's asking you to use your voice as a strength. Use your intellect, your great ability to take charge. Capricorn Mercury is a leader, and Pluto, conjunct your MC, is a leader. You are powerful in your own right, and you are very good at getting what you need. You're resourceful, cunning, maybe, and charming. And when you really use your voice and your thoughts to really advocate for yourself, you're able to really sway things into your favor and not feel oppressed by people who might be in more authority positions than you, or lovers who might be starting to feel like they know how loyal you are and could potentially take advantage of that from time to time. So it's your voice, your thoughts, your ability to own that and use it to take your power back that really answers this Lilith Pluto Venus struggle here. Keeping the boundaries, when that Pisces moon, I feel like, doesn't have the boundaries, I think you can really lean into your Capricorn stellium to say, wait a second, I've worked too hard in life, or I've come too far. I've withstood too much for anybody to just completely manipulate me. I have a soft, tender heart, but I'm not a fool. And I think that's what you're trying to say. So you get some opportunities to flex that muscle in life. And you really have this bucket chart if you look at it without the, um, this is part of fortune and this is the node. So I don't know that we would really count that. If we excuse these and we keep Lilith, then the rest of your chart energy is in one direction, and this Lilith is on the outside, which makes sense because Lilith always feels like an outsider. It's how you are. It is your shadow side. It's who did you wrong that you feel this way, and that you have this vendetta against things, and you need to heal it and acknowledge it and let her live too. So in 0 degrees, this is a new energy. So it needs to have a space. It needs to feel this sense of freedom and ability to experience many things. And that committing to somebody isn't going to take that away from you, that you're still free to pursue things that keep you feeling like childlike and curious and interested in life and having many flavors to sample. It doesn't have to be different people, but it needs to be something that it's just not like, okay, you signed this contract and that's it. Like, no, like there's more to this and I know it and I need to experience it. A 0 degree bucket energy is just going to want to be heard. So that's why I added it in your chart. I think it separates you from other people that might have similar situations here. So I also want to talk about Mars because that's the next in the little three. So we hit up on your deep ability to love with this Scorpio, Venus, Pluto, possible ways we need to watch for control issues, maintaining your freedom. Move to Mars now with Virgo Mars. There is ambition and drive, of course, because we have this Capricorn stellium here. But when we have Mars, we also like what drives us, what motivates us. You really want to be someone who is seen as useful to others, especially in relationships. You have this relationship theme going and going and going. You want to be useful. You want to help improve the situation. You're an Aquarius rising. You're always trying to improve the situation. But now you're saying, but I'm really motivated to do that on like a personal service-based level. So where Aquarius rising has these huge ideas, big picture, I can see humanity at large, how we need to improve this. I'm going to take my persona and be the example of being authentic and ingenious. While Mars is saying, hey, but you know what? Like, let's bring it down to earth a little bit. What can I actually do every day for somebody, maybe in my life, maybe my partner, that we can actually get them motivated to make the changes they need to be their better self? And that's usually where the energy goes. If a Virgo energy is in the seventh house, I really see that as you being someone who's kind of like a coach to somebody else. Like if there's somebody in your life that you really care about, they become a partner to you, a spouse, business partner, somebody really who takes that other full-time position in your life as an equal. You want them to be their best selves. It's a projection of you when they're doing things right. You want them to take that seriously. You want them to stay motivated and ambitious. You want your partners to be hungry, to be their best. And that makes total sense for a Capricorn sun. That's easy for you. Virgo, Mars, Capricorn sun. You see right away A, B, and C that they need to change to improve. And look how easier your life is going to be. Look at how much more effective that was. Look at you're so productive now. Didn't you realize that you were just doing something incorrect and now you're not? Like, yay, I'm so happy for you. That's kind of how you go about partnerships is you keep your other person motivated and on their best game. Now, a Mars in the seventh house can also backfire sometimes because you can get people who seem a little bit more aggressive in their ways of doing things. Maybe you come into situations where you're Virgo, I'm doing this because I care. I said that because I care and I want you to do better. And people take that the wrong way. Why are you so critique? Why are you so critical? Why do you keep nagging me about things? I don't like that. I'm letting you know. Maybe it's volatile. Maybe it's just in bluntness, but it can be perceived in ways that people mistake you're trying to be of service as negative or hurtful in some way. So there's the ability here to overcome this and really try to see things as opportunities to better your own understanding of this Mars energy. So it's less likely to show up in partnerships and more likely to be something that you own. So you don't have to see it projected back at you. So this is something where we take in this vertex now, because if you have a vertex, really, that would be a wide conjunction, but they're both in the same house in the same sign. So I feel like it's purposeful. You have an opportunity to really grow in the gifts of this Virgo energy. The vertex is where we open doors in life. This is something that if you want to pursue more of, you can find great things. I pulled this up because when you were asking about intestinal issues, healing the Chiron, is this part over? I felt like, well, don't know, because you have a Pisces moon. So you're always going to feel things. I don't know that it's the Virgo Chiron that's causing your stomach issues, unless you're overly triggering this feelings of not being good enough in relationships, because that could be a Virgo Chiron theme if this keeps happening to you when you feel like you're in partnerships where you're not getting the reassurance that you're doing it right. Virgo likes words of affirmation, like you're doing acts of service. You need someone to say, hey, I couldn't be who I am without you. Like, I see all the things you do for me. I really value your partnership. If you're not hearing that a lot, if people take advantage of your ability to help them, then that could cause some issues in the nervous system and then in the gut. But I also see that happen in Pisces moon people because they're just very in touch with all of the energy around them all the time. So I don't think it's uncommon for people to, although it's harder to access because you have two strong signs as your rising and sun. So this part might get turned off sometimes. But I think it's more healing that moon, the Pisces moon that really feels everyone else's struggles and then isn't letting it go themselves. You have to let it go. You have to let it flow. You need to be in some type of protective energy practice. Lots of people work on building their like energy shields. That would be really helpful for a Pisces moon who has any type of stomach issues. Something's getting stuck. There's energy that's stuck that's not passing through. You're holding on to other people's negative energy. You're taking their pain from them, you're cleansing them, you're not letting it out yourself. So I feel like that's more of the calling here. But I pulled up this vertex because it's also in Virgo. And I think this is the part of the answer. You have these oppositions here. And I think to help is to get grounded more and let the Pisces energy be unblocked and free flowing because that's where Pisces works best. Yes, I feel you. I love you. Let me take away your pain and then I'm going to send it down the river myself too because I'm not useful if it's stuck in me. So the vertex in Virgo, you can work on really getting in touch with like your earth goddess energy. Are you really like in touch with the cycles of nature? Are you getting your hands in the dirt? You might find that you have like this really knack for like natural medicines or growing healing herbs. Um, you might find that you have therapeutic energy when you're using your hands to do something. Maybe knitting really relaxes you and you can transcend to a different awareness level. Maybe it's healing for you to just be in nature in general and really quiet the rest of the world. When you have the vertex in Virgo, it's a ability to really be one with nature, and healing comes from using the natural tools around you. That earth is healing, that you can really nourish your body and your soul through nature. So I think that that's something to be practiced. And it's going to help with your grounding to help with that Pisces moon. Also, you could go the Pisces moon route itself of just creative expression, free flowing art, acts of love and compassion, being physically supported by someone. There's many ways, but I think being in touch, I would advise you to just be more in touch with, am I holding blocked energy from other people? Is it making me sick? I need to let that go. Got to find a way to let it out, or I need to be working on protecting my energetic field completely. I know Reiki is a good way to practice that type of stuff too. Getting with an energy healer and seeing if you can unblock anything that might be stuck. All right, let's see. We're going to go to the outer planets. We talked about the Capricorn stellium, but I think you're going to have lots of opportunities to work on spiritual growth in this life with the Neptune and Uranus in the 12th house in Capricorn also. I think you're going to find synchronicities in life or events in life that really bring you back into the more spiritual side of yourself. That when things are shaken up or disillusionment occurs from life's ups and downs, I think you're going to want to spend some time in private meditation and really start mastering some of these meditation skills or getting closer to whatever you think a higher power is, or getting in touch with spirit guides, however that's meaningful to you. It's something that you want to become confident in and really take the time to develop this skill. It's a goal at some point in your life to give that attention. The Pluto we talked about. Let's see, the Jupiter's in Sagittarius, so being in its own rulership makes it pretty powerful. Same thing with Pluto. You've got the aspirations are really endless. I just see like all of this chart of you where like boundaries, the limit doesn't exist kind of thing. Like if you wanted to pursue anything in life, Jupiter's at the top of your chart saying, come on, like shoot for the stars. You've got the optimism and you've got this like purposeness. When Jupiter and Pluto are at the top of your chart, sometimes these people feel very like called to do something in life. Like there's a purpose that they need to achieve. And not everybody feels that way. Some people, like it's the journey, and the Sagittarius energy is like that. So maybe there's not a clear destination, but there's this calling, like you feel like. What you're doing is for a reason, and maybe you don't know why yet, but like there's definitely a path that you need to follow and callings that you need to pursue. So I could see you being somebody who really like travels a lot and learns about different cultures or different languages. Somebody who really likes things that are intense with this Pluto energy too. Like maybe there's a topic that you really like to study. Maybe it's like unusual or occult or really like about like the deeper motivations of consciousness. Maybe you like to dig deep on like why things happen. Why did people do that? You know, do you watch the true crime shows or paranormal stuff? This Pluto Scorpio whole generation, they have this ability to really go to the edge of human psyche. And with the Sagittarius MC, it's like, okay, well, let's do something with this. Let's not just sit in it and read about it or watch about it. Like, I want to go and learn about it, or I really want to pursue education in this. I want to be a forensic investigator, or I want to go somewhere that other people are learning about this too. And I want to see what they know. And I'm going to do something really I'm going to make this into a big adventure that is like a journey for my life. Um, with the Sagittarius now being a mutable sign, it gives you more ability to seize opportunities and do things, achieve things that you don't have to always come up with the opportunity for yourself. Life presents things to you as opportunities that you can take advantage of.